Hey, so this is the quad that I'm about to play motor on. Go ahead and put this thing down here so I can get a good camera. Sorry about the noise. So this is the quad right here, and as you can see, it's had a little incident. So we're gonna have to replace one of the motors on here. Um, for this, I think I'm gonna use my portable soldering iron. This 6040 solder, some a flux pen, pair of scissors, electrical tape, double-sided sticky tape, snips, pliers, hemostats, um, a wrench, a ratchet I mean, and a couple of pairs of hex wrenches, hex wrench sets, mini snips, and possibly a second head for the soldering iron. Probably also need some heat shrink here. Alright, and I'm gonna need one zip tie. Let's see, yeah, I'm gonna need one of these right here. And that should be it. It should be it. I got my light over here, got everything. So now I need a power source for my battery powered soldering iron. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to use the electricity powered one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to run out to my car because I have left the battery. I've got a 3-cell battery I use to power this thing. Um, I'm gonna go get that. I'll be right back. So this is the power source for that guy right there, and it should be good to go. Get some of the smoke right quick. All right. Grab a chair over here. We got giant spiders out here. Damn if I'm just gonna sit on one if I can help it. So, here we go. Let's get this done right quick. Ow. Yeah, it's real easy to break these motors. This is a friend of mine's quadcopter here. I'm trying to get any of my friends to start flying these things. It's so much fun for people our age. It's just like being a kid again, man. Um, if you don't have one, you owe it to yourself to try it. And even though, like I said, it's my friend's quad and he crashed it, If you got a friend who's into the hobby, they'll gladly fix it for you. You know what I'm saying, to keep you in the air. Uh, it did take me a lot of learning, and I've been to school for some of this stuff, so it's uh, it's it's not rocket science, but it definitely takes it's a heck of a learning curve when you start out. So it's easy to get crashed up and break your motor shaft or snap an arm or break a camera or an antenna. It's so easy to do. So keep that in mind when you start out. Have a good friend who's gonna back you up and keep you in the air, or make sure you saved enough money on your credit card, right? So first thing to do is take this guy out. We have bad motor here, and hopefully that's the only thing that's wrong with this thing. I probably should take that antenna off too, just to make sure the mount is not broken. Take that off. Yeah, motor's pretty well done. Still got all of his motor screws. All the mounts look okay. The stack seems like it's still in place. The receiver's still on there, and it looks like our quad is still working. So hopefully that's just gonna mean we just replace this motor and we're good to go. Um, this is my choice of motors here. I've got a Emax motor, a real ACC motor, a Hobby Sky, two Hobby Skies, and another Emax. The Emaxes were taken from a wrecked Hawk 5. The Hobby Skies were purchased separately, and the real ACC came off of a real 5. The motors on this quad, on the BFight 210, are Flow Lovely or Flub Fly, I don't know what it says, but they're 2300 kV motors. So we're going to try to replace it with the same kV. I need a screwdriver. So I've got my Phillips head screwdriver, and that is going to get me started, but I need to first take this off here. Take this motor off. And of course, motors use hex screws. Definitely don't want to lose any of your motor screws. Sometimes they're particular. You don't want to guess with these things. You want to make sure you got the right size screws. Right. Need a little knife. Well, actually, this will work since I don't have to worry about destroying the motor because it's already destroyed. Yeah, I don't want to cut myself though. Need a new blade for my X-Acto knife. Let's take our time with this and not get skinned alive here. almost done. There we go. Alright, so I got that tape off there. That's just to secure the motor wires down to the arm of the quad, because you can't have that shit flopping around. We need to tighten up some of these hex screws in here. Get these arms a little more stationary. We're ready to go ahead and perform this operation. And it looks like, to me, you want to remember the wires, the order of the wires. It looks like it's going straight in to provide that reverse motion. So it's either straight in or reverse, you know. So you either go and solder them in direct like this, or you crisscross the wires so that the left and right wires are replacing each other. So that's simple enough. Go ahead and start heating. I need to find a place to store my soldering iron. You don't want to start looking for that after it's already heated up. I have this little stand here to hold my soldering iron, and I put a little water in there, because this thing gets about 400 degrees. Since we'll be using, let's see, pretty big gauge of wire. Ooh, sorry about that. We'll be using a pretty big gauge of wire today. So I'm thinking, since we're using a thicker gauge of wire, we can use a big tip. Uh, this is the big soldering iron tip right here. And this is the small one. Basically, you can use either one, but the bigger one is for bigger jobs. I'm trying to decide if this is a big job or not. It kind of is, so I'm going to stick with the big one. We're going to stick with the big one. We got our location for storing our iron. And now we go ahead and plug this in, or we could if we had an adapter. We got to go get the adapter, which is inside my, it's in my car, so I'll be back 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. Go ahead and plug this in. Let me make sure I got juice. Let's see. We got juice. Alright. Shouldn't take too long for it to heat up. First thing is remove the wires. Go ahead and put a little bit of this on here, to prepare this surface. It was kind of dumb what I just did. I could have got this stuff in my eye. Don't do that. When I started out, I used to wear eye protection. Probably should do that now, but I'm not sure whether I do this. I'm not going to look for it right now. Oh, there it is. Alright. This is the eye protection. Yeah. Should be ready to go. Alright. You've taken the motor off and everything. And actually just going to try to slide one in there to replace it. Unfortunately, these are motors with counter threaded threads on there. So we're looking for a silver. This is an exact match. I could use this one, or I could use this one. This one's more powerful. This one is a 2204. This one thinks 2205. This one's 2206. We'll go with the 2204. It's the most similar. Looks the most similar. And it's the most similar durability wise. This wouldn't be a bad choice either, though. It's a KV mismatch, though. It looks more similar, I think. But then again, I'm less sure about these wires. I'm going to go with the straight ahead deal here. That's probably a little wiser. Right, so we'll go ahead and do this. I want to put it on the top, I think. That's probably better. So it'll look like the rest of them. Don't be afraid to put your soldering iron down. I always used to try to get it all done in one go, but that's not important. Making sure you don't bridge anything, that's important. But take your time with this. And always use eye protection. I'm going to need a little helping hand over here. That should do it. I'm not going to be able to sneak between there. I made a little mistake there, but I was able to catch it in time. So we got everything on there, it looks like. Make sure they're not brittle or cold solders or anything. Better to check that now. You know what I mean? It's better to make sure you got a good joint. Top and bottom. And this one looks a little thin. Let me get my magnifying glass. No, there's no shorts, but one of them is definitely thinner than the others. It's adequate. Alright. So we got it straight in. We just need to lock that down. At worst, we'll have to beta flight it and reverse the motor direction here, but hopefully this motor was wound the same way as the other one. Hopefully. There's only one way to find out. And I guess with this wire being so much longer, I'm gonna have to do that and just tighten it up with the tape, with the electrical tape. Yeah, we got plenty of slack. Yep. Go ahead and tape it down now. Ow! Ow! Damn. That hurt. There we go. I want to get this tape down some of these motor wires. Let's start right here. I try to leave enough slack in case I need to work with anything later. One thing to do would be to fire it up, but I'm gonna let homeboy do the honors. It's his quad. But just to make sure it's not gonna blow up. All right, we're done with the soldering iron, so we can unplug that before it sucks my battery dry. And this particular iron is not too bad on the shoes. So we're down to 12.3. So it took about 0.3 off of my battery, which is not bad at all. I'll go ahead and leave this adapter on here. So as you can see, we got our new motor soldered into place. Not such a bad solder job, if I do say so myself. It's the front left the nice and shiny one. Yeah, so there you have it. We got our motor wire, our motor screws, I hope. Oh gosh, there we go, 4 motor screws. And I'm gonna go ahead and install those right now. Make sure we got it in there the right way. Looks right. It's hard to see. I guess I can take off my safety goggles now. Come on, come on. There we go. Alright. Nope. There we go. Alright. So one motor screw in there. I need to get 3 more. Alright. Looks good. Got our new motor on there. Put the props back on. Let me finish this tape. Gotta have the motor wire out of the way. I've ducked it under the arm because this is a new copter, basically just a basher for my homie to learn how to fly and everything. So, I'm expecting it to crash. Nothing wrong with crashing, that's the only way to learn, really. So we got new motor on there. Looks like everything is good to go. Permanent. Put the antenna back on there. Looks like ain't nothing wrong with the antenna. Our receiver still works. We got our antennas on there. Everything is still good to go. I made this thing here, so getting pretty good to tighten up this camera here on the side. And we got to tighten up the frame. Alright. Frame on the bottom needs to get a little bit of tightening up here. That's not the right size. too big. Isn't this one? These hex screws, man, I don't like those things. I do not like hex screws. So that's not the right size. So that is the right size. I just gotta tighten it as best I can. There we go. There we go. Tighten it, just don't strip it. And make sure that your stack is mounted securely. Can't have that moving around at all. Alright, so it looks like we got this thing straight, and it's ready to get back in the air as soon as I put the props on. And where is the nut? There it is. Alright, so put this bad boy back on here. Righty tighty. These things hurt, man. These fucking props are sharp as a bitch. She's on there. The rest of them are already good. So we're done here. Thank you for watching. 30 minutes, not too bad. And I spent a lot of time walking around looking for tools and whatnot. But yeah, we've completed this repair here. BFight 210. Basically just replaced the front left motor. And that's it. Tape it up and we're good to go. Good as new. See you next time. Have a good night.